96. It's your girl Carla hanging out with two of my favorite pogues from Outer Banks season 4 and 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I've got Madison Bailey and Carlacia Grant. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing super well. You guys have been all around the city this morning.
Yeah, a little bit.
How's the adventure going around Chicago compared to the adventures of being in Poguelandia?
It's much more glamorous already.
You think so?
For sure. This is my first time here, so I'm excited to see the city.
Really? Where are you originally from?
I was born in Connecticut, raised in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome to the big city.
Thank you.
People think it's New York. It's not New York. It's Chicago. Let's set that.
Yes.
Let's set the record straight right there.
It looks similar.
Yes,
but it's
very
not,
much
yeah.
so. I think Chicago's cleaner. Personally.
Definitely
Absolutely.
cleaner. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cleaner, yes.
And people are really Midwest nice out here, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people out where Outer Banks is being filmed, they don't seem to be so nice. The kooks and the pogues, all of the different people out there. I want to know, and this question is going to be specific for you. How do you think that the characters have evolved from season 1 to season 4 as a crew, and also your character specifically?
Sure. Okay. I think as a crew, we're all obviously maturing. I think it's especially the jump from season 3 to 4. I think, this is kind of our first year of having something to lose, and we've kind of built something a little more stable compared to previous seasons. So, we're growing up, and we're fighting for our peace this year. And I think my character's growth has been very, in tandem with that. She's, my character was kind of on this treasure hunt in support of her friends, and kind of still is. And so I think she's just grown in the ways of shedding her parents even a little more, and this year really being on her own.
Yeah, just kind of the independence.
Yeah.
While still, I guess, depending on the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Because you guys are a very dependent group.
We're so codependent.
Yes, a little too much. Was there ever any moments where you guys thought, maybe put yourself in the shoes of your character?
Okay.
Every time JJ did something dumb.
Oh God.
Let's talk about it, okay? Especially because he's your love interest in the show. Every time he did something dumb, did you ever just want to say, stop?
Yeah.
And then maybe move the girls out, and the girls can have a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the TikToks with Cleo's responses to?
No, I'm not.
There's a whole thing of every time Cleo rolls her eyes at something JJ does.
It's not even me personally. It's more like Kiara season 2 versus now. Now I'm because this is my love interest, I'm having to find new ways for this character to make sense of it. Whereas season 2, she would have just flat out said me this is stupid.
Yes.
and now it's a more loving approach.
Okay, let's talk about the love interests that are going on in season 4. Because by season 4, everybody's kissed everybody, I feel.
Yeah.
For the most part. But are there any couples that you think in the real world would actually survive or need to break up?
I think John B and Sarah
Yeah.
would be thriving.
Yeah.
I think that they would do well for sure.
What about your
Tara's
love
great.
interest with Pope?
In real life, Cleo and Pope. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Cleo and Pope.
I think
feel like
opposites attract. They're really good opposites, and I think they have a good balance between each other.
They're a cute couple. I like that.
Yeah.
So with Cleo coming in later on in the later seasons, every single character brings something to, JJ is the crazy one. I'd say John B is a dreamer.
Yeah.
What do you think that Cleo brought to the crew that was missing from before?
I think she brought camaraderie, wit.
Yes.
And, she's also really smart, and I think she brings some muscle. She'd be come on, pull it together, guys. We
Yeah.
got to do this. Stop crying about it. Let's move forward.
She's a doer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's also a fighter. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there is a really intense fighting scene in season 4 that I saw where for a second I was they're not going to kill my girl off.
Yeah.
No.
And
Yeah.
they can't do that. Do you guys train beforehand to try to, I guess, practice these scenes? What kind of stuff do you do to make sure these look authentic?
Yeah. I mean, specifically for the ones that we had on camera, I did definitely have a lot of stunt training, and I had to box and do jiu-jitsu. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I had to learn how to flip like that. So we definitely did a little bit of training specifically for those fight scenes this season.
So do you think that you could translate those skills into the real world if you needed to with the jiu-jitsu?
I mean, I've been hand, so
You said,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
this
yeah.
ain't. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
What about for you? you with everything that, because Kiara's like, she surfs and she's always like on the boat. I feel like you've probably driven the boat a few times. Like, do you think that you would know how to handle yourself in the water? Like, were those diving scenes?
Me, Madison?
Well, yes.
Because, no, natural selection would get me good. Let's be real. No, this season actually is my first time driving the boats on camera.
Yeah.
Which is so insane.
Yeah.
We learned season 1. So back in 2019, they taught me how to ride the boats. And then this year they were like, all right, and here are the keys. I was like, it's been 5 years. 5 years since I learned. What could go wrong? Yeah. And it went very well.
Okay, good.
It went very great.
Yes. I mean, I see you're both still here, so we can clap to that. I want to talk a little bit about like the sisterhood and the brotherhood that happens when you're on set for so long, 4 seasons. Yeah. I want to know, who is your BFFs on set, and who do you guys have the most fun with?
I feel like it varies.
Hard to choose. I know.
Yeah, it varies because sometimes we shoot a lot of stuff together, and sometimes we're like paired off together.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
It just depends on like who's off that day.
I know. I got so many besties.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends. It's like picking a favorite sibling.
Okay.
Madison's next to me, so I'm going to say Madison.
I'm like, this is my girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my girl.
Absolutely. It's Madison. We got to eat together. It's fun.
What is the most fun part about filming a show that's so full of like mystery and adventure?
I think the most fun part is that you can really play in that world because everything is made up. The treasure hunt only needs to make but so much sense. So you really get to like have fun and just cut up in the in-between stuff.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever find yourself getting surprised by like the script? Because I remember when I saw season 1, I was like, okay, that's the end of that. What else is gonna happen? And then suddenly there was more treasures and more treasures and more bad guys.
Yeah.
Where the heck are they coming from? What was one of your favorite twists and turns from season 4? or just in general, if you don't want to give some spoilers out.
I like that Terrence came back. I love Terrence as a person. He's so great. Terrence, his name is actually Terrence. The character, his real name in real life is Terrence. But like, I don't even think that
Terrence
I'm like,
Terrence.
Terrence is Terrence. But I love seeing him and having him come back because we had like built such a great camaraderie so many years ago, and to see him come back, it was great.
Totally.
What about for you?
I think this season I was really excited for the turtles on the beach.
Yeah.
Because it's been something that's talked about for my character for so many seasons, and we're finally seeing her like interact with this like thing that she loves, and I think you really get to see like where Kiara's heart is. And,
absolutely. Especially because when they were coming at y'all with that car, this is how I know I'm becoming an auntie. Because this is how I know I'm becoming an auntie. I was screaming at the TV like, where are these kids' parents? Why don't you guys call the cops? How dare they?
No, for sure.
So many emotions. What did you have to tap into to get that like anger out?
Nothing. Like, there's something that's so inherently sad about what's happening. You know, sometimes you have to go to another place in a script. You have to like replace something like in your own memory, and that was just one that I cried reading the script. When I first read that episode, I teared up and I was like, this is so sad. And then on the day, like, you're just pissed, like, you know it's fake, but there's just something like envisioning people that just like don't care about this, like.
And they exist in the world, but they're not in this room.
Yes, correct.
There's all turtle lovers in here.
Yes,
right?
all turtle lovers. Thank you so much for taking the time to come down here and talking to us. Really quick, before we go, one last thing that you want people to know about season 4 of Outer Banks.
That part 2 is insane, and you have to see it. It's full of surprises.
Yes. Part 2 is where it's at. Like, part 2 is really going to take it to a new level.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Outer Banks season 4 is out now, but check them out all the way from season 1 to season 4. Thank you so much, Madison and Carlacia, for being here with B96.
Thank you, Carla.